Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Today I have with me the Lenovo P16 Gen 2. Now it's been a while since I made a video about new workstation, but today is the day. And if you remember, I already had, I think this early year, the P16 Gen 1, but I feel this one is different. So let's start, shall we? So as you can see, that's a huge box. I mean, usually boxes from Lenovo is like half the size, maybe even the P1, but yeah. So let's open it up and make a little mess. So that's the charger. We'll get to that in a second. But the thing that we want to see is this guy. So let's take it out. And here it is. So before even checking the device and look around, I would like to talk a little bit about the charger, just because I think at this year, or maybe at this time, maybe Lenovo should have gone with 300 watts charger, because the 300 watts charger has been given out with the Thunderbolt 4 docking station, and it was really great. I mean, it provides a lot of power source energy to the laptop, so why not giving out even bigger chargers? But never mind. So this one is given out with the 230 watts. It's pretty big. I mean, it's big, but it's slim. It's not not heavy as usually with the older chargers. It just feels as a charger, not something that I would cry about. And now, finally, to the device. Let's go over the ports, and while it's being charged, because I want to start the laptop really soon and show you what's going on inside of it, let's go over the ports. So on the front, it's not a port, but basically if you look carefully, you can see like this weird line. I guess it's something to do with the antennas, but this one does not come with a SIM tray. I mean, it could have a SIM tray, but it's not being used. It's an optional upgrade, but this one does not have the SIM adapter. So let's go from the right this time. So on the right we have the Kensington lock, USB 3, of course, or USB 3.2 at this point, full SD card reader, and a full smart card reader. I mean, I know there is another name for this thing, but I just don't know what the professional name for it is. On the left we have, as we said at the beginning, SIM tray, auxiliary port, Type C, which is just being used as a USB because you can see the SS on it, and USB 3 again, but this one is being used to charge up your device or something like that you're connecting to the laptop while it's being shut down. So you can basically put it in your bag, connect to your phone, and it'll be charging up your device. Just an example. On the back we have the fans, and with ports it's the funny part. So on the back we have no Ethernet, which is kind of weird. We do have an HDMI, 2 Thunderbolt 4, and a charging port, which, if you can see, lights up with an indicator when it's being connected. So why I said funny? Well, if you are a previous ThinkPad owner, lover, you know that these beasts, the P15, the P16, the P17, there wasn't 16 up until last year, they came with an Ethernet port. Now this beast, this whole device, has no Ethernet port. It's funny, it's kind of idiotic if you're asking me, because you have enough space to do it, so why you are not adding the port? I've heard that the Gen 3 should have one, but maybe, we'll see. I've just mentioned the P17 and the P15. I do not have with me the P15 right now while making this video. I do have lying around, but I do have near me, had with me, the P17 X1 Extreme Gen 4, which is exactly like any P1 from the line. I think from the second gen, they're really similar. And here we have the P16 Gen 2. Now, if you see closely, These devices are huge. I mean the P16 and the P17. But this one has the Ethernet port. This one does not. So that's the main reason why it's just being funny. You can also see the sizes. I mean, the P1 is half the size of the P16, and the P17 is just the same size as the P16, but just a little bit longer, just to have this 1 extra inch with the screen. Maybe I can do some comparison later. Just let me know in the comments and maybe I'll create another video. But let's go on with the P16 Gen 2, right? So let's open it up and see what's going on inside. Wonderful device. Wonderful device. I mean, it's exactly the same size that you would want to have the keyboard. You are seeing the speakers, 16 by 10 aspect ratio screen, and just overall, just last year, even better. So let's start it up and we'll see what's different inside with the 13th Gen Intel. Here we have the P16 Gen 2 opened up. Now, the first thing I can say is that, well, it's very similar to last year's P16 Gen 1. There is no major difference in anything, if at all, but there are a few notes that I can tell there is a difference between the two. Now, the first one that I can say is the feel, or maybe I can say the touch of the palm rest area. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's like the same, I just cannot remember the last year's device. But basically, this part is a little bit more, how can I say, gummy maybe? It's not plastic, and it feels great. It feels like I can rest my arms over here and feel nothing. I mean, feel good, feel comfy. The second thing is the trackpad. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but this year's trackpad is much more smoother and feels like butter, as you would say. Just plain nice. And those upgrades are nice and okay. But if you have a P16 Gen 1, don't upgrade to the Gen 2. I'm just saying it's right in the beginning of the video. But let's keep on and talk about the rest of the changes that this laptop have. How is the keyboard? Well, let's test it and see how the typing is and how it feels. Hello everyone. My name is Mr. E, or should I say LongRhino. As you can see or heard, I typed and the keyboard feels extremely nice. It's pretty quiet and I can type with high quality of typing. I try to think about the word that is not hard to say and high is good. Anyways, I just like the keyboard and I like the fact that it is full keyboard with numpad. Now, it's not something to take for granted, because if you saw in the Lenovo site and you saw the X1 Extreme and you saw the P1, they are 16-inch devices, but without the numpad, and it's just weird. I don't understand Lenovo, I really don't. And again, regarding the trackpad, as I stated right in the beginning, there is a change in the trackpad. I mean, it just feels good. Feels good. You can see how accurate the pointer is and how nicely it moves. And it's not too big, not too small. And it's just there is enough space for the whole hand to walk around, and well, good job. Now let's talk hardware. So the CPU, I think it's the top one you can get it with this device. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can get it with a, I don't know, Xeon. But in regard of the i's series, which is next year, is being deprecated, and we are going to lose the i9, 7 and those. The top of the line for the consumer, the i9 13980 HX. The first time I saw HX was last year with 12th Gen, and I really like the X and the H together. It just looks really nice. As you can see, we have 36 megabytes of cache L3, which just means you have enough power to do anything you might want regarding your CPU. You also have 24 cores and 32 threads. It can boost, I think, to 6 gigahertz, but I don't really care about the gigahertz. Maybe it's just me. Let's go move on to the memory. Now this one comes with the 32 gigs of memory, and I think you can max it out at 128 gigs of RAM. And this one might get to this level, maybe. I don't know, maybe. But we'll see later on. But it comes with 32, and the speed is kind of low, and I think it might be wrong because, well, with this high kind of CPU, you should have gone with higher, much higher megahertzes. This one comes with a 4000 megahertz RAM. It's kind of weird because if you see the X1 Gen, the X1 Carbon Gen 11 around at 10, you can see that they're already coming with a 5600, and I don't get it. I don't get why can't this kind of device get such a low speed of RAM. But again, maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's something to do with the BIOS that needs to be upgraded and know what it means. Now the disk is SK Hynix, usually fine SSDs. I prefer Samsung, but those are doing their job as well. It's has a really weird name, HFS 001 TEJ9X 162N. Yeah, go figure out. Wi-Fi, we have the Wi-Fi 6E AX 211 160 megahertz. And the last thing, well, for now, with the task manager, let's go to the GPU. Again, really weird GPU, but it's right in the middle. It's the NVIDIA RTX 3500 ADA generation laptop GPU. This GPU is really similar to the 4070, something like that. It's pretty good, pretty buffy GPU. We'll test it pretty soon. And for those of you who really like smooth screens, something that you can work with but also play with, Ultra HD with 165 hertz of refresh rate. I don't know if you can see it in this video, but the mouse is smooth, bodily smooth. I mean, any job, any work that you'll do on this laptop is going to look wonderful. I know it's not 4K, but believe me, 165 hertz just feels wonderful and great. Just take this screen, not the 4K 60 hertz. Come on, it's just an OLED. And now for the speakers test. As you can see, they are top, and it just really means there is a little bit less bass, but the quality should be okay. Let's test it together. Now I've changed the sound test from Hip Chase to another one just because of legal and whatever. So the sound's name is Solicious by Dahlia. Nice name. Let's just hear it out. I really like this sound. So, as you've heard, the speakers are fine. They are not the high level, the Mac related levels, but they're fine. They're doing their job. There is little to no bass. Unfortunately, maybe next year we'll get some nicer speakers, but that should be enough for a workstation. And now the benchmarks. Let's start with the SSD benchmark, the M2. It should be fine, but let it run and we'll see the numbers once I'm back. And we're back with the numbers. So the read speeds are wonderful, 7121. The write speeds are 6090. Now, the write speeds could be better, but it's just fine as it is. I mean, maybe firmware upgrade would do magic with this SSD, but the read speeds is just wonderful. You want to look out for devices that can do 7000 at this time of, you know, of technology. And now for the benchmarks. So let's start with the CPU benchmark without the charger. That's the only way I can show you that it's not running without it. And the next and all the rest of the tests will be with the charger. So let's start with the CPU, and I'll be back once it's done. And we're back with the numbers. So single core score 2056. Multi-core score is 5505. Those scores are fine, but I think I saw better numbers. Anyways, let me show you the rest of the numbers and we go to the next test. And now for the CPU benchmark with the charger. Let's see if there is even any difference. I'll be back once it's done. And for those of you who are thinking about getting a workstation and thinking it's going to be quiet, well, let me change your thought. It is noisy, but not that noisy. I mean, I saw worse devices. That's fine, I guess. Now, those are the numbers I was looking for. So single core, 2068. A little bit extra juice, but the multi-core is more than 3 times the amount of power. 18,569. It's huge difference. I don't know how to express that. But let me show you the rest of the numbers. Just you'll see how fast of a CPU is that is. And now for the GPU benchmarks. So we have the CUDA, OpenCL and Vulkan. I'll start with the CUDA and I'll be back once it's done with the benchmark. Of course, again, with the charger. Again, huge numbers. So the CUDA score got 163,355. Wonderful. Let me show you the rest of the numbers. And now for the OpenCL benchmark. I'll be back once it's done. OpenCL score 149,611, almost 150,000. Let me share the rest of the numbers. And for the last test, the Vulkan, I'll run it and I'll be back once it's done. And now for the Vulkan score. So we received 82,451. Let me show the rest of my numbers. Last 3 things that I want to touch about. So the first thing is heat. Now I've benchmarked this device and played a little bit with it. Now, usually with workstations, it's either way on the sides or on the back you have the heat. With this device, on the sides you have cold. You are receiving, cold air. It's something that I first saw on any device. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it just feels on these sides just cold. It feels like I'm in the winter, and it's magnificent to see this kind of thing on a workstation. Now regarding the heat on the back or on the keyboard. So because this device is new, you can barely feel the heat, but the heat is generally in this area, like in the middle, but over here you feel nothing, and on the top you can feel nothing. Just the middle of the keyboard, that's just the area that this device is struggling with keeping its heat. Now the second thing is weight. The weight of this device, or maybe I should just say the P series, like the P15 versus the P16, P17. So the P17 and the P15 were discontinued. You won't be able to find them anymore new. So this device is replacing them both, and it's just right in the middle. So the P15 weighed about 2.5 and the P17 weighed 3.5 kilograms. I think this one is even, I mean, it says on the side it is 2.8, I think, but it just feels so light. I don't know, maybe it's just the plastics, maybe it's something that Lenovo did. It just does not feel as heavy as this kind of device should have felt. It feels good. You should give it a try, trust me, you won't be disappointed. And the last thing is the battery. Now the battery life on this device are good. Kind of funny to say on a device that has an i9. And I know it's kind of weird, but maybe again, just because it's a new device, I'm getting 3 to 5 hours easy with this device without a charger. It's just wonderful. Again, I'm using this word a lot, but it just feels like Lenovo is going within a good direction to change things, to make them better, and not just look better. Now, one little thing, I mean, we talked about it in the beginning of the video, but if you are getting to Lenovo's website and you're thinking to get a workstation, you'll be offered to get the P1. Well, this exact model is the X1 Extreme, but again, the X1 Extreme has been discontinued, but they're still looking very similar to this one. And you're getting offered the P16 Gen 2, the P1 Gen 6, or the P16 Gen 2. And I think both of these devices are good. They offer you almost the same thing, but this one you're getting it without a full keyboard. In this one you're getting a full keyboard. This one you're getting lightweight, but much noisier, much more noise and heat. With this one, you can just ignore the heat, but you are getting a little bit extra of weight. So just make your comparison, which device fits you more? The lightweight and looking better, but it stays in the same design for the last 6 years, or you want to make a little change and go with the extreme and maybe say the best device that Lenovo can offer you from a workstation perspective. So I think that sums it up. I talked about enough on this device, on this video actually, because it's more than 23 minutes. But yeah, there is a lot to talk about this device, and I think I covered up almost anything. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to send in a message or comment on this video. I'll be happy to add anything you want or answer any questions you may have. So thank you for watching, and if you kept up until this moment, I want to thank you personally. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video.